let's start with just removing the beauty from your face, right? We need you to not be beautiful. And right now, you're too basic, too beautiful and basic to do your job. So we're just going to take a bit of a cotton pad here. Oh, welcome to hell. I will be your ambassador here today, and I'm just going to take you through. You're a new hire, right? Yes, okay, perfect. We have all your information already, so we don't have to worry about that at all. Yes. This is sort of the orientation, sort of make sure that you know what's going on here. What it takes for you to really be a devil, right? It's going to be a little bit interesting because I know that humans who get turned into devils, and newly formed devils, they end up having sort of misconceptions about what it is to be a devil, and we're here to correct that. Misinformation is it's a disease, and we're here to stop that. Misinformation should be the thing that we spread, not the thing that we do. So, moving forward, let's just get started. We need to make sure that you look appropriately devilish. You don't really look it. If I were to point out a few things, and I'm using you as an example, this is, a one-on-one orientation, and I do this with everybody. But if I look at you, your face is giving too basic, too normal, right? And that's not being me being mean. That's not me committing a sin or anything like that. It is just the truth. It's too basic. It's too normal. We need to fix that. We need to do things that are a little bit devilish. And we need to unveil some of the truths about your visage that is going to be important for your job. After that, we're going to do a little bit of, with that, we're going to do makeup. And then after that, we're going to work on a few characteristics. You could say that's sort of the uniform of a devil, and I know people on Earth tend to have a very limited view of what a devil looks like. But that really works to our favor, If we told them what devils looked like, then they would always they'd always know that we're coming. So anyway, who am I? Oh, I, of course, am your orientation advisor. I am your trainer. If you have any questions, you can always come to me. You're going to graduate from me and do your own devil duties. And just to make sure that we're on the same page, devil duties do include, coercing humans to commit sin. That includes empathy, understanding, and being a good person. Yeah. And then, when it comes time to actually perform things to the humans yourself instead of just coercion, what you're going to have to do is get creative. One of the things that one of our devils recently did that really traumatized someone was they invented something called earwax. So what they did was they randomly pissed in someone's ear, and it created this very interesting substance, right? And humans dubbed it earwax, and so now that's just where devils go. It's not fascinating? Anyway, let's start with just removing the beauty from your face, right? We need you to not be beautiful. And right now, you're too basic, too beautiful and basic to do your job. So we're just going to take a bit of a cotton pad here, wipe your face, be nice and easy, and it'll just take this. Of course, this is soaked in, a solution that is meant to melt away your beauty. Because beauty is always it's a mirage. So let's just start, and there we go. Okay, great. Perfect. Doing wonderful. Yes. Yeah. You can feel sort of all of your inner thoughts and doubts and everything that made you a morally good person melt away with your beauty. Yeah. Of course. And that isn't to say that beautiful humans are moral and ugly humans are not. Every human is beautiful in their own way, and that's what makes them horrible beings. So I'm just taking that away. It's pretty important to do that. So how's your first day? Oh yeah, they should. Yeah, they brought you in, showed you to your little devil cubicle. Of course, yeah, they always do that. It's always so funny. It's like, hello, let them come to me first. Let's get them all ready and situated before they start their job. Sometimes hell doesn't understand that you need to exploit your workers. Come on. Okay, so just right here in the jaw, you have too strong of a jaw, so let's just get rid of that. Then your nose, too perfect. Let's just move that up. Let's get rid of that. And then your eyes, too memorable. Perfect. Nice and good, nice and easy, right? So you should feel much more devilish, don't you? Okay, good. So next, we're going to do the makeup portion. It's all going to be in here. And one of the things that's pretty interesting is we keep all of our makeup goods in here. And that's because there's nothing more sinister than putting makeup in what looks like a tactical army box. So let's just open this up. Okay, so let's just start with foundation, right? So we're going to use this foundation. This is definitely not your shade, which means it's perfect. And we're going to use an already used beauty blender. And that's because there's nothing more devilish than using an already used beauty blender and just not cleaning it. So we'll just use that. We'll just open this up and get started, won't we? Okay. So I'm just gonna pump it on here. Okay. Alrighty. There we go. Oh my god, that's like the difference between your color and the foundation color. Miles apart. Yes, this is one of the, and this is what I mean, right? You wouldn't expect a devil to look like this. It's all perfectly planned. Now, I did touch upon what you're supposed to be doing, but when you are, since you're sort of like an intern, just a heads up, rapturing people is not your lane. That's for the advanced devils to do. And you really want to only rapture people that deserve to be raptured, right? Humans end up thinking of the rapture as something cataclysmic, but really it's an everyday occurrence. You can rapture anybody, and really it is the most fun part of our job. So just letting you know. Okay, perfect. Okay, and then just moving here. Yeah, just really see what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the foundation to be as splotchy as possible. I want some parts that are a little bit translucent and some parts that are really opaque. I'm trying to not blend incredibly well. And that's because there's nothing spookier than that, And if we want humans to see you, we want humans to know that you are inhuman. we do have very extensive contract that you have already signed. But just so you know, you no longer belong to yourself. You do belong to us now. So if you don't really particularly like how you end up looking by the end of this, just let me know. I'll take that to the higher ups and they will determine how many lashings you end up getting. So. Perfect. Okay. You're doing a fantastic job. You're really a trooper. Okay. Yeah. Are you curious so you're wondering if you get to choose like anything about this? Don't worry. You will end up choosing if there's a few things that I'm going to have to get your opinion on. We can't do the same sort of like makeover, makeup, devilish makeup effect on every single devil because what ends up happening is they all look very similar. And that would just bore us to death. So okay, perfect. Wonderful. Just want the nice little streak here, sort of like an army swatch right here, but in like the worst way possible. And then one on the other side. Okay then. So we're going to move on to a little bit of concealer and bronzer. And this is going to be here with this palette. This is a drugstore palette. We only ever use drugstore products here in Hell. And that's only because we like to prove that you can be a horrifying monster without getting anything fancy, right? So let's just open this up. Get our little makeup brush, of course, not cleaned. And then we're just going to go, do you want concealer or bronzer first? Silly me. We're going to do both at the same time, obviously. So we're just going to grab a bit of this and a bit of the lighter color right here. And then we're going to close this. There we go. Now, close your eyes. Yes, I'm just putting it on below your eyes here. This is where the concealer goes. But the effects of the bronzer being mixed in means that you're sort of doing the two opposing forces and in the same spot. So when humans end up looking at it, they're going to be driven to insanity. I don't know. I know that you're fairly new to this world and this life, but if you've ever heard of Cthulhu or just really anything by H.P. Lovecraft, he ended up seeing a devil once, and he saw that, and it really made an impression on him. So he's been trying to describe bronzer and concealer in the being mixed into the same substance. Okay, and then let's make sure we get that on your forehead here. Okay, and then down here on your cheek, and then, carving it out, just carving it out, making sure that those cheeks look like they can cut bread. Yeah, we want it to look serrated. Yeah. Oh, wonderful. There we go. And then going down the jaw. And here, we're trying to emphasize the fact that your jaw is hideous. So we're really going in and we're trying to get every single little divot, every single little thing. And then we're over here, right, and we're going to give you a chin dimple, even though you don't have one. There we go, because there's nothing that looks worse than someone that's trying to have a chin dimple. And then just go in here, go in down. And then what we're going to do is we're not going to blend it into the neck. You know, blending it into the neck, that's totally for humans. Us devils, we don't do that. Okay, so now that that's done, you feel like you want a little bit more? You know, I like your initiative. Oh my god, yeah. I'm gonna remember this, and I'll let your manager know. Okay, just getting a little bit more then, and just there we go, and then just a little bit more here. And then over here, and you know what we can do? We can probably put a little bit on the nose too, you know? Because sometimes we want to pretend that we have the beauty that humans do. And right now, humans are very into the idea that their noses are red. So perfect. And then over there. A little bit over there. Do this. Oh my god. Brilliant. Oh my god, that's so good. Okay. Great. So now that we've done that, we're going to skip sort of doing eye makeup. We're just going to put eyeliner. And what that's going to do is going to make your eyes look bare, but bold. So let's just take a little bit of this, get a little bit of color, and then I'm just going to add a nice swoop. But this swoop is... humans now, right now, they're very into experimenting with different eyeliners. It's kind of interesting. What we like to do is we like to put the eyeliner everywhere but on the eye. So we're going to go here, we're going to take it out, make it really bold, then we're going to come back down here and we're going to stop, and we're going to go here and we're going to put it right here. So it's like we're bracketing an eye, right? So stay still, and I'm just going to do one side right here. There we go. Nice and bold. Bracketing here. And then the other side, just bracketing this side here and here. Perfect. And then we're going to do the other eye. So let's just bracket, start here, go and down. Perfect. And then over here, down. Perfect. Yeah, and that makes it so that a lot of the devil powers come from our eyes, so we really don't want to obstruct that, you know? Anyway, we're done with the makeup. I know, fairly simple, fairly easy, but we still have a lot more to do. Next, nothing more evil than a Tide pen. And what we're going to do is we are just going to erase some of the spots that have been left on your soul, right? You know, we really need you to be as devilish as possible. And if you remember what it's like to be like a good person, then it's not going to really work out. And please ignore our little devil kitty. You know, it is not his first day. He knows what he's doing. Okay, so just stay still and just reaching directly into your soul and just going squeak, 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 squeak. And then over here, squeak, squeak. Okay, and then right there, squeak, squeak. Okay, and then right here, squeak, squeak. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Now that that's done, let us move on to sort of disfigurement. Now, this is not the kind of disfigurement that you might sort of know. This is more along the lines of we're changing your face shape so that people don't really recognize you anymore. And so what we're going to do is we have this magical tape. I'm going to take some and put it on you, and what's going to happen is it's going to immediately fuse into your skin and just fully, like, okay. The closest that we've gotten to like a devil walking on earth is sort of botched Botox jobs. So we're trying to mimic that in terms of face shape. So let's just grab a bit and okay, now stay still and there we go. See, and it's immediately fusing. And what we did is we like pulled to this side, right? It's kind of a little chic that it's pulled on one side but not the other. It makes it look like you're sickly. But you know what? Let's not do that. Let's get the other one down, right? You know, we want to make sure that at least you're symmetrical. Okay. We want some semblance of humanity here. So, and then here, just... and pull. There we go. Wonderful. Okay. Now that that's done, what we're going to do is we're going to move on to your little claws, your little nails. Corporate has mandated that we have 3 color options, and this is what's really going to differentiate you from other devils. We've got a nice sparkly red, we've got a sparkly black, and we've got sort of a more pinkish red. And the reason why we have these 3 is because we want devils to be able to express themselves, but we also want them to know that there is unity between us, right? So one of these 3, which one would you prefer? The nice sort of pinkish red, that's sort of the naive color. It's the I'm a new devil and oh no, don't hurt me kind of devil. This one is more of the emo kind of devil. This is the one that's like in screamo music and in you know, that this is the devil that your parents probably thought was in screamo music, but really was within them all along. And then this sparkly red, this is really, it's not for many devils. It's really only for the devils that feel like they want to be they're sort of rebelling, right? They want to do a sort of, oh, I want to be the devil that does justice, and I want to be able to make the lives of people who've done other human beings wrong a living hell. What does that entail? Keeping the toilet seat up when they try to sit down, or you know, making sure that they run out of toilet paper before they're fully done, or you know, or making them feel like someone's watching them all the time when really no one's watching them. So, which one do you want? Okay, yeah, we'll go with this one. Sounds good. So we're just going to, yes, give me your little claws. Oh, you're surprised. You have claws now. Yeah. Okay. So just going to open this up. Yeah. And see this, you'll notice there's a bit of crusties on this. And that's mainly because we don't want to use something that's fresh because we don't want people to think that you care. Okay, so just stay still and perfect. Okay. Again. Okay. Now, do this. Let it dry. Okay, stop. We want it to be half dry when we go again, okay? Yeah, see how it's getting all lumpy and sort of splotchy? Yeah, that's the goal. Okay. And okay, perfect. Now, one last thing before we wrap up here and you're able to move on to your actual duties as a devil. Do you want polka dots or not on your nails? We have this tool. It allows us to put polka dots. And the reason why we do this is because honestly, polka dots is probably the most heinous thing on earth and in hell. So if you want, it's really hardcore. If you want it, I can talk to people about it, and it will really set you apart from other devils. It'll be like, oh, I am here to do my job. I am here not to mess around, and I am going to own all of you. So, polka dots or no polka dots? Just a little. Yeah, let's just do a little bit. Oh my god, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, just 5 little dots, and then over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. Oh my god, you look absolutely horrible and horrifying. So, if you ever wanted to come up with different ways to be a really good devil, you can always talk to me about it. But this is sort of what I'm going to do with everybody. I'm just going to try and get them their own look and their own feel. So hopefully you've enjoyed yourself. If you haven't, that's not really my problem. So you have a wonderful day. Get out there, start pissing in ears, start leaving the toilet seat up, oh my god. I recently learned of one thing. I know I'm keeping you, but one thing that I learned is that people hate it, absolutely hate it. If you go and you just tickle their nose a little bit, just give them a little tickle under the nose so that they can feel like they need to sneeze, but stop them from sneezing. Make them not sneeze. Or better yet, make it so that they need to sneeze when they're breaking the most horrible, tragic news to their loved ones. Devil. Absolutely devilish. Okay. Have a good time. Bye-bye.